No! Oh, no! Yes, cried the monkey, you've been beaten!
All in the kingdom were there to welcome back their hero. The king himself appointed the brave monkey his... Oh, hello. I've just moved in next door, and I was just wondering if I could borrow some tea.
Of course, come in. Actually, I'm just making some. Would you like a cup?
Yes, please.
Don't mind Randy. He won't bite.
Are you two getting on okay?
Fine.
Time for a sharp exit. Time for a cool, sharp harp.
The definitive solo album from one of rock's brightest stars, the Freddie Mercury album, featuring the hit single, In My Defense, out now.
This man has already shaved this morning, and now he's taking the Braun challenge with the revolutionary Braun Flex Control.
Feels good. Feels really comfortable.
We wanted to see how the pivoting head and twin foils followed the contours of his face for a really close shave.
Actually, I can tell where it cuts and where it doesn't need to cut anymore. Thanks, that feels good. Really good. Can I take it?
Then we checked how much the Braun had taken off.
Feels good. I like it.
Once you take the Braun challenge, we think you'll agree you haven't shaved till you've shaved with a Braun.
The spirit of Chanel.
Can you resist the temptation of Ferrero Rocher? Why resist? Ferrero Rocher. Why resist it?
Glamour puss! No. Catwoman! Oh, go on, Puss in Boots! Catwoman, go! Puss in Boots!
Pictionary, the most fun you can have with a pencil.
Meow.
Oh, it's essential now. It was a luxury before we got it, but it's definitely an essential now.
I used to do the washing up before we had a dishwasher, and it took an hour and a half. It was hellish.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well, these days we don't fight about it. We used to always argue about who was doing the dishes.
Now I've got a complete monopoly.
Yeah, so we spend our time arguing about other issues rather than who does the dishes.
For all your creature comforts, DishwashElectric.
Buy selected appliances from MEB now, and you won't have to pay until April the 30th. Miss an offer like that, and you will be miffed.
A special feature on World Motor Racing champion Nigel Mansell as he receives honours from the city of Birmingham. Central Sports Special tonight at 11:40.
Hello there. Well, we could be in for some fairly severe weather tomorrow, particularly into the northern and western parts of the country, because we get strong winds coming into that area. Gusts perhaps up to 70 miles per hour, and some heavy rain making those driving conditions fairly hazardous at times. Now that's all because of this area of low pressure there out to the west, bringing these weather fronts in and those tightly packed isobars. So a strong and windy day. I think probably the worst of the winds over Northern Ireland into western Scotland, but also down into the far southwest later on in the day. Now then, back to tonight, and it's clear skies across most of England and Wales, so a frosty night, some icy patches, and perhaps a little bit of mist in central eastern areas. Further north, clear to begin with, and thicker cloud comes in later, bringing rain and sleet later on, probably in the early hours of tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, well, we start bright and fairly cheerful across the bulk of England and Wales, but over in the north and west, well, a dull, damp, windy start, rain turning to sleet and snow over the higher ground, and eventually working its way slowly south and east into northern parts of England and to the west, but probably many central and far southeastern parts staying basically dry until the end of the day, but clouding over. Temperatures tomorrow, well, it gets a little bit warmer in some areas, but with those strong winds, I don't think you notice it. In fact, a fairly raw and chilly feel to the day down that western side with those strong winds. That's it from me. Good night.
Good evening from the Central Newsroom. Birmingham City Council says it may have to cut up to 3,000 jobs because of what it describes as a government vendetta. The authority is having to save £40 million. Unions say the council has been misspending its money on glamour projects.
Labour leaders didn't mince their words. Their financial position was horrendous and unfair. Savings up to £40 million have to be made next year. Up to 3,000 jobs could go. While the hunt for volunteers has already begun, some losses may be compulsory and no department will be spared. The City Council blames the government for the financial problems and an alleged vendetta against them.
We won 3 seats from them in April. 3 parliamentary seats, which were Conservative, have now gone Labour. That's why they've got a vendetta against us.
While council staff refuse to be drawn into the row, the unions accuse the ruling Labour group of getting their priorities wrong.
People judge local authorities on whether their bins are emptied and their children are educated. And that's what we want to see provided, basic services, not the glamour and the glitz.
Birmingham Council says although it'll push the government for more cash, it's not optimistic. Without it, the city's long-term prospects remain bleak.
Parents in Coventry say they're angry and disgusted over a decision by city councillors to give the go-ahead to a sex offenders clinic. It'll be based in an area with 9 schools and near a housing estate.
Coventry City Council's ruling Labour group decided today that Alderman MacDonald House in Exhall could be turned into a specialist unit for child abusers. It will be a sister clinic to the controversial Gracewell Institute in the Moseley area of Birmingham. The final decision will be made by the full council on Monday, but it's now almost certain to go through. And it's a decision which has enraged local residents.
Very angry and very disappointed. We've been badly let down by our council.
The Labour group in the council is standing by its decision and claims concessions have been made to allay the fears of local people.
It was a very difficult decision to take, and it always was going to be. But members felt on balance that they could now approve the scheme.
Residents plan a large demonstration at the council house on Monday in a last-ditch attempt to persuade councillors to change their minds.
Experts have found the cause of the fire that killed 4 young children yesterday in Birmingham. They say it was started by a cigarette lighter in the rear bedroom of the house in the King's Heath area of the city. Killed in the fire were a 5-year-old girl and her 3 younger brothers, aged 4, 3 and 18 months. It's not yet clear who was responsible for the accident. Toyota's first car rolled off the line today as the Japanese company opened its £700 million plant in Derbyshire. The factory, built on an old airfield at Burniston, will produce more than 36,000 cars a year, mostly for export. The first vehicle to be completed was a Carina E family saloon, the only model to be made at the plant so far. Prisoners at Birmingham's Winton Green Prison have saved 10,000 teddy bears from an untimely end. The stuffed toys were due to be destroyed after they were seized by Trading Standards officers because they were dangerous.
Trading Standards officers seized 10,000 of the cuddly creatures when they were imported from China 4 years ago. Since then, they've been stuck in this warehouse, waiting for quite a different fate.
Previously, these items would have been destroyed. They're usually ordered forfeit by the courts, and we have to incinerate them, crush them or destroy them to avoid them getting back on the marketplace.
Instead, the bears are being given a second chance at life in this cell by inmates at Winton Green Prison. The bear's cosmetic surgery involves removing the dangerous features and sewing on new ones made of harmless felt.
The majority of them just pulled straight out, and some of the necks, as you could see, they had holes in them where the kids could get their hands in and pull them. So we took the eyes out, the nose out, and we put these felt ones in to make them safer.
Tonight's football results. VS Rugby lost 2-0 at Marlow in their FA Cup second round replay. Derby County go through to the semi-finals of the Anglo-Italian Cup with a 3-0 win at Reggiana. But Birmingham City are out, beaten 3-0 at Lucchese.
Birmingham went behind after just 7 minutes. A swift crossfield move ended with a goal for Stefano Betterini. A sad start for a game Birmingham needed to win to retain a chance of progressing in the competition. They should have equalised when Darren Rowbottom beat the Italian offside trap, but his shot was indicative of a dismal team performance. It was described by players as shambolic, by manager Terry Cooper as a disgrace, and for the second goal, scored by Roberto Paci, the defence was almost non-existent. In the second half, it was Massimo Rastelli's turn to beat an offside trap. This time he was brought down, and he took the penalty himself to make it 3-0. The afternoon was completed by John Gale's sending off for an off-the-ball spitting incident, a sad end to Birmingham's Italian connection.
That's it for now. From the newsroom, a very good night.
Central Weather, sponsored by Legal & General.
Hello, good evening again. Well, from the last satellite picture, you can see the cloud that gave us today's rain is nipping off eastwards, so no more of that tonight. Good news there. However, it's already feeling cold tonight, and it's going to stay that way, I'm afraid, with temperatures dipping right down to -3. It will become clear and frosty with mist and fog patches developing, which are hardly ideal if you're out on the roads tonight, so do be careful. Now, those patches will clear a bit later on into tomorrow morning, but it will be frosty at first, turning out bright and dry, though, as the morning wears on. And as we move into the afternoon, we've got quite a mild outlook for you. It will become breezy in the west, with cloud thickening up, and top temperature up to 9 Celsius, 48 Fahrenheit. That's all we've got for you for now. Suffice to say, make the best of Thursday, because Friday looks very windy and very wet. Back tomorrow.
Do you find that on certain days you just can't agree with a word people say?
Ouch!
That some little devil is stirring things up?
Oh, yes, yes, yes!
Alive and kicking.
Ouch!
Central Weekend. Friday's Little Devil at 10:40 on Central.
Earlier this Friday on Central, the concluding episode of the action drama Framed. Timothy Dalton stars at 9 p.m.
Well, they might sweeten her up.
Who cares that you find just the right present? Farenheit, pour l'homme, par Christian Dior.
Citizen, because a watch should show more than seconds, minutes, and hours.
Bourbon. Carp. Assault with a deadly weapon. Arson. GBH. Possession. Criminal damage.
The Bill confronts the issues of today and makes them into the drama of tomorrow.
And now we conclude the drama, Prime Suspect 2.